Well, it's 2 days later, and in that time we've had about 3 inches of rain. Really good rain. And I could drive up this hill, but I don't want to tear it up. It's something to keep in mind when you're on private land. Their grass is gold, it's their livelihood, so you need to look after it as much as they do. So bottom line is, I'm going to climb this hill behind me. I'm going to spare you the puffing and panting until I get to the top. But I'm here probably about half an hour, maybe 45 minutes before Leigh and April. We're going to go over and hunt basically where I did yesterday. So the plan is for me to get up on the ridge line, follow that along while they work along the bottom. The wind should be quite good. It's coming in from the west-northwest, which is basically across this direction. So I stay out in the open, get to the top and start hunting in.
Don't always do what I should. I'd be better if I thought I could. I'm a sucker for adrenaline, every villain is. Everybody trying to change my ways, but I live just to see you break. I'm a sucker for adrenaline, every villain is.
Well, he's found me. He's just pulling up through the gate there. The climb hasn't been too bad. I've probably got about another 100 metres to get up to where I want. And I'm going to actually check that last trail camera that I put in, the one just on the edge of the fence line.
Mark up near this gate near the scrub.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Do what you got to do. Yeah, so Leigh's just going to park down there and he's going to work in from the bottom up. I'm basically, as I've probably already mentioned, I'm going to work my way from the ridge line across. Wind is ideal actually, it's coming straight in the direction I want to go. Already I can actually see quite some fresh prints. Actually that's a roo. This one here is dry. No, it's just roos. I hope I haven't pushed those roos too hard. They've obviously come back out of the paddocks and headed back into this literally what I'd class as fringe country. I've ended up going past me the last trail camera that I set up the other day. I'm coming up higher. Sometimes, yeah, I should really leave it alone, to be honest with you. It's a little bit like opening your Christmas presents early. So it's only been in for a bit over a day. So I'm just going to work this ridge now. Leigh should be just about in position below me. And it'll be just a good hunt for April down there. There's some great blackberries, a bit of wattle. You just never know what might be better down there, and especially after this rain, any scent that's going to be there is going to be fresh.
Steve said this was a nice little spot for a walk with the dog. He's not wrong, she's loving it. So we'll see how it goes. Heaps and heaps of blackberries in here, big bunches of them. She'd love to go running through those. I'm sure she'd end up putting something up, but I haven't seen anything run off apart from a mob of roos yet. So at the moment, all things are quiet, but you never know.
So now all I've got to do is slow down, keep those eyes working, and go into full hunting mode, because you're not going to get much better conditions than this at the moment. But all that needs to happen now is the animals play the game and show themselves and let me see them before they see me. Well, it's all still wet, so no recent activity here, but This is where I would expect them to be, and I expect them to be today. There's at least one fellow buck in here.
Just a couple more minutes in and we can smell a deer for sure. Just that the scrub's so bloody thick here. Well, you know, within about 80 yards. But we just haven't pinpointed it yet. The wind's a little bit swirling through here, so we're a little confused, but tracks tell us that it's dead ahead of us, which is, I can see up to about 60 or 70 yards in front of me, so we'll see what happens. It's all right, pup. I know. We're a little slow on those ones. We just had a couple of little fallow run off, a little doe and a young one, and she's on fire. We didn't see them till late, they were already on their way. Yeah, the wind's just not right for her here, but oh, bit of fun.
Slow and steady's going to win the race here. And try and be as quiet as I can. I haven't heard any shots from Leigh. Well, we end up walking within a few hundred metres of me. One of my trail cameras, so I'm just going to check it. Got to open my Christmas presents. Well, it was worth a look. The only thing of interest was a sand behind, which wasn't long after I'd set it up, to be honest with you. So she was obviously heading that way, heading towards the open pasture. So, just shows you they're in here. You may not find them, you may not see them every time, but they're in here. I've checked one. I might as well check the other while I'm here. They're only 100 or 200 metres apart. Hello, hello. Let's see what you've got for me, besides me walking up to it and walking away from it. There's nothing on this one. Some nice pictures of my ass.
Super. We haven't seen much else. In fact, we haven't seen much in the way of tracks either. But I have a choice now of either following the gully through or cutting across the gullies. And the way the wind is at the moment... Tell me that's not a deer she's just found. What do you say? Just when you're filming, she decides to bark at one finding its way down the tree line.
I just gave Leigh a call on the radio. He said he's seen 3 deer, or the arse end of them. I thought I heard April bark before. They're about 500 metres down below me, but the sound carried right up here. But I'm yet to see anything in the flesh. But he's in a cracker spot down the bottom down there. So I'm just going to start working into some new ground now. Drop down off this ridge, work my way back around over the period of, well, it's 2 o'clock now, so I've got realistically about 4 or 5 hours. It's dark, seriously dark by about 8 o'clock up here.
I don't think we're missing much, that's for sure. We're covering the ground reasonably well. I've cut between gullies. Unfortunately, I haven't seen diddly squat now, so I'm going to drop down a little bit into one of these gullies because well, they're quite nice, but well, what do you do? Stand up here and get wet, or go down there a little bit lower and have a bit more cover and hopefully see something? But we've been looking for tracks on these game trails and haven't seen much since the last rain, which was only yesterday. Anything we see is pretty fresh.
Well, I thought that might happen. I've just had a sand behind burst out of the bracken in front of me here, probably 10-15 metres. Never presented a shot at all, but got a nice view of its arse running away from me. Yeah, so just as I dropped in off the ridge here, I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is starting to look really deery. We might just go and have a look at the bed though, if I can find where she was bedded down, and we'll see how deep her footprints went into the ground, because it's hard ground here, but where she ran was probably a little bit more greener. There's her bed right there. She's got a great little spot. She's just disappeared straight out of here. Now the bracken here is probably virtually nipple height here, so the chance of me seeing her before she heard or smelt me were very slim. But she had a good exit that way, and obviously the way she's gone. Now as I come up through here, obviously I can see the bracken's been smashed down, but even on this hard ground, there's a print. Blimey, even there, they are hard to see. One there, and that's a sambar at full gallop. So you can imagine when they're just walking on this hard ground, you may think that they're not here, but they're here. How would they not be here in this sort of habitat? Well, nothing to see here. Well, at least not at the moment anyway. But how could you not think they'd be harbouring in this stuff? You could come back tomorrow and put out another 2. And I'm hoping to be able to do all right in the last couple of hours before it gets dark, because that's when they're going to come back into my territory and hopefully be on the move. 1 minute. It's dead still, not a breath of wind. Next minute, the wind picks up, the rain comes through, and the process just continues to repeat all day long. That's what you gotta love about it. No more than about another 20 metres. Talking away the camera. It's a trade-off, I can assure you. Just got honked by 2. One had a real nice ginger backside, I can tell you that much. It just looked like 2 hinds, to be honest with you. They were about 70 yards through some wattle. But they knew what I was. Knew enough to get out of here, that's for sure. I think next time I come in here, I'll either have the camera or the rifle. I'll be doing one or the other. It's a bit tricky to try and go through this scrub, film it, hunt it, set up. I'm getting a little bit sick of getting honked here. So I'm going to go down about another 200 metres. Now as quick as that rain's come, the wind's gone. There you go, I'm back in the game. So I'm going to go down about 200 metres down here, I think. See if I can find a clearing, and I'm going to let it rip with the caller. Shot fired. I had quite a good view of her. She knew something wasn't right, but she just didn't want to give up her ground. So the shot should be in her front left shoulder. I'm hoping it hasn't gone too far down into the stomach cavity. But I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes, and then I'll just go down where I last seen her, because she just actually took off like she wasn't even hit. But I'm pretty confident the shot was good. I certainly can't see her, but she did run. I'll say she could be a spiker too, a young one. This is roughly the area she was standing. She's come out of here, I think. Now I've just got to find some prints. She was definitely out of this scrub. I don't expect to see a lot of blood. This is where I think she's taken off, but I'll go with this for starters, and then I'll have to zigzag down further because realistically I'm not seeing any footprints here, so I could be 10 metres out. It's always deceiving. Either way, I'll start with this and work my way back if it doesn't work out. The ground is that hard. I'm struggling to find a print. I'm sure she's come through here somewhere. Oh, hello, hello. That's freshly broken. That's freshly broken. So she's come through, must have been through here. Yep, yeah, hold on, there's some bracken down here as well. Yep, definitely. Hey! There he is. Just a young spiker. This should eat beautifully. And it looks like the shot has gone in the front of the chest and out the back. So that's a 150 grain SST out of the 308. It's done the job. This should be a good eater. So while the rain comes down, it'll keep the flies away. I'll have to get into it now.